He rented out an entire amusement park for another woman's child. While security dragged my son and me out in front of everyone, my son pointed inside and called him Dad, and the crowd laughed like he had made a mistake. That was the moment I realized he hadn't been broke for 7 years. He just didn't want to support us. My name is Emily Carter. I live in Chicago. 7 years ago, I married Ryan Blake, a man who used to have everything. Right after we got married, he declared bankruptcy and said he had nothing left. From that day on, my life collapsed. We moved into a rundown apartment with peeling walls and no heat in winter. I kept the place warm with a space heater while bills piled up faster than I could pay them. I worked multiple jobs and collected bottles just to get by with my son. He never complained. He only asked quietly when he could spend time with his dad. I always said soon, because I was waiting for Ryan to recover, waiting for our life to come back. I didn't know I was waiting inside a lie he had already planned. The day I finally saved enough to take my son to an amusement park, we were stopped at the entrance. "It's a private event," the guard said. "You need to leave." I was about to turn away when I heard a familiar laugh. I looked up and saw Ryan. He was holding another child. Standing beside him was a woman, smiling like she belonged there. Ryan looked proud, happy, gentle. It was a smile I hadn't seen in years. My son froze. "That's Dad," he whispered. People turned to look at us. Some laughed. Some whispered, "Kid's mistaken. She's causing a scene." My son's face turned red. He hid behind me. I couldn't move. That was when it finally hit me. We weren't poor. We had been abandoned. When we got home, my son still greeted Ryan the same way. Ryan didn't even look at him. It was like we didn't exist. My son showed him a picture of a toy he wanted. Ryan said, "Maybe later." He had been saying that for 7 years. This time, my son didn't back down. His voice shook as he asked, "Why do we have to wait?" Ryan frowned, annoyed, but gave no answer. That night, my son cried quietly in his room. I stood outside the door with my hand against it, unable to say anything. For the first time, I realized I couldn't protect him. Days passed. No gift. A week went by. Nothing. One night, Ryan came home and handed me a bag of medicine. "Make this and bring it to me tomorrow." I recognized it immediately. It wasn't for me. I threw it at him. He stared at me like I had lost my mind. I asked one question. "What about our son's gift? Tomorrow?" He said again. That was when I understood. There was never going to be a tomorrow. Later, I saw him again at the restaurant where I worked. He sat at the best table. Across from him was that woman. On the table was the exact toy my son had wanted. He wiped her hands, reminded her not to eat anything spicy. His voice was soft, careful. She smiled and said, "You're always so attentive." I stood there holding a menu, invisible. My boss yelled at me in front of everyone for being too slow. Coworkers watched. Customers whispered. I thought he would notice me, but the woman said she didn't feel well, and he immediately carried her out. He didn't look at me once. That was when I understood something else. I wasn't being ignored. I had been replaced. The real turning point came with a social media post. She added me and posted, "Thank you to the man who loves me the most. We love the gift." The photo showed the toy. I sat on the bathroom floor and cried until there was no sound left. It wasn't forgotten. It wasn't lost. It had been given away. That was the moment I woke up. I stopped crying. I started digging. Every transaction, every absence, every detail. I pulled out old documents and compared accounts. What he called bankruptcy was just asset transfer. All the money went to one company. I found its registration. The owner's name made everything go cold. It was her. I kept digging. Houses, insurance, investments, none of it was under my name. Even our apartment was temporary. He hadn't lost everything. He had been erasing me. On Father's Day, my son made a small handmade house, a family of 3 inside. He said he would wait for his dad. I didn't stop him, because I was waiting to. For the last time, Ryan didn't come. So I took my son to his company. The lobby was filled with decorations, balloons, cake, applause. All for that other child. Ryan stood in the center, holding him, smiling like a perfect father. I walked in with my son. Everyone turned. Security stepped forward. Unauthorized personnel are not allowed inside. I said my name, Emily Carter. The room went quiet for a second. Then whispers started. I connected my phone to the main screen. Transaction records filled the display. Account flows. Company names, every detail. The crowd stirred. Phones came out. Cameras started recording. I looked at Ryan. This is your bankruptcy. His face changed for the first time. The woman rushed forward to stop the screen. I pulled up the company registration. Her name appeared, large and clear. The room erupted. Board members came out, faces dark. Some demanded answers. Some called lawyers. Ryan tried to speak. It's just an investment. I displayed the timeline. Every transfer during our marriage. Every lie connected in one chain. He had nothing left to say. I placed the divorce papers on the table. Sign, I said, or we settle this in court. Silence filled the room. He looked at me, panicked for the first time. I can explain. I can fix this. I didn't listen. My son stood beside me. He looked at the other child, then at Ryan. Then he said, go take care of them. I only need my mom. No one spoke. Ryan reached out, but my son stepped back. That was the moment he lost. Not to me. To himself. I took my son's hand and walked out. Behind us was chaos, whispers, and the collapse of everything he built. For the first time in 7 years, I felt free.